August 11th, Oshkosh Advisory Parks Board meeting. Please, if you have a cell phone, silence it. If you need to take a call, please step out in the hall. If you come up to the microphone for any comments, please give your name and address and keep comments to about 5 minutes for random comments. All right, roll call.
So just to start out, Erica is no longer with our department, so I will be doing some roll call and other secretarial duties tonight. Davis,
Here.
Millet, Floam, Metz,
Here.
Franz,
Here.
Herman,
Here.
Gudek. You have a quorum.
All right. All right, the June 9th meeting minutes. Any changes, comments, questions, concerns?
I'll make a motion to approve the June minutes as sent out.
I'll second.
We can do a voice vote, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
All right. Any citizen statements not on the agenda? I'm gonna guess no. Okay. Introduce Tyler?
Yes, so I want to introduce tonight Tyler Claver. Tyler is our management analyst that started with our department back in March. We have Tyler working on a variety of things, from doing most of our purchasing, doing a lot of our budgeting, capital improvement budgeting, as well as operating budgeting, policies, procedures. So we're giving him a lot of things that is helping out a lot of our supervisory staff and myself to get done. So if Tyler, you want to give a little background of yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Great to meet you. I came originally from UW Oshkosh. I've worked there for the last, better part is going on 6 years in student affairs, just in student activities and organization relations and stuff like that, advising student leaders and such. My education background is in secondary education and also in public administration. So Ray gave me the opportunity, thankfully, just to bring those skills and talents over here to help out the department as best as I can. I'm happy to serve with them.
Good. Welcome, Tyler.
Welcome aboard.
All right, on to new business. Discuss and recommend the Clearwell project elements pertinent to the Parks Department.
All right, so in your packet, you received some information about the Clearwells project. If you recall, we had a presentation a while back regarding the project. Basically, it's the water intake system, the water plants down on Lakeshore Drive. And we have Julia from Psyche Design here tonight to go over some of we're down to 2 preferred concept plans that we've been working on internally with various departments. And then we have Jason and Steve with the water utility division as well. So they're here to support Julia. And so what we're looking for tonight is discussion by the board on the concepts that Julia will go through, and then we'll be looking for a recommendation on the preferred concept from this group. They are also going to be presenting to a number of other boards and commissions to get input as well. But these areas that we're going to discuss tonight mainly affect some of the park areas. So.
What's that?
You can just give your name and address for that. Okay. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia Schilling with Psyche Design. We're based in Madison. So we have 2 concepts. Ooh, can we make this full? This one? I can't see.
What are you looking for?
Oh, I was going to do a full screen. This is probably fine though. Wait. Oh, sorry. My eyes aren't good from back here.
Go up on the upper tab where it says Advisory Park Board Agenda. Can you see that? Or click on that. Nope.
Up
Right.
one.
Go up.
Up.
Go back over here.
Sorry. Right or left?
Click right here.
Left. There you go.
Click that.
And then if you scroll down, you'll have it'll be a larger presentation of yours.
Is not.
Well. This'll do.
Sure, I have one real quick.
Oh, maybe the arrow.
There you go.
Oh, I see. That's better. Okay. Yes. I'm a graphics person. I like to see things big. Thank you. Okay, so both of these concepts, we've gone through multiple iterations with the Department of Public Works staff, the plant staff at the water filtration plant, park staff, and other consultants that have worked on the proposed clear well structures that are coming up. So we looked at their realignment of Lakeshore Drive, and we've gone through many iterations, but both concepts we ended up with have a 10-foot multi-use path, which is kind of that gray path on the top there. The north is left in the rendering that you're looking at, so the north half of the site is relatively the same in both concepts. So we're keeping the two entries to the plant where they are now. We did explore different entries, but the pavement ended up being too much impermeable pavement. The parking counts for both are also pretty similar. We tried to preserve as many existing trees as possible. This concept 1, preserves slightly more existing trees, 13, and then all 5 of the memorial trees that are on site. Oh, a pointer would be good. The red button. Ooh, oh, it doesn't like
There
the
we go.
screen. Oh, could you see it on the screen? Yeah, everything but the screen. I'll do my best to use descriptive words. So the lighter green circles are all the existing trees, and the darker green circles are proposed trees. So this one calls for 21 new trees on the site. We worked with, on both concepts, rearranging the parking, so there's perpendicular parking as well as like the parallel street style parking. So that's what you see on the right, which is on the south side of the site. Let's see. So the lightest green would be lawn area, and then we're also looking at introducing towards Lake Winnebago, that kind of like more bluey green is sort of a low fescue meadow, like a low mow that wouldn't have to be maintained or mowed very often, and then like a native prairie planting in that center. Oh wait, I can point with this, sorry. This would be like a native prairie kind of area here. And this would be lawn. So kind of a mixture of lawn and native planting. Okay. So here we have some images of what the kind of native, we'd want to keep it 3 feet or lower to keep with kind of like security standards. And this is an example of the low-mow fescue lawn type mix. Yep. And then towards the clear wall structures themselves is kind of like darker green, would just be a foundation planting, kind of low shrubs and perennials. So as a reminder, it's probably been a while, this is the structure. We're also showing relocating all of the memorial benches now along the new path. So this is a photo of the benches. I think there are 5, but we're using all of them. There are 2 winter lake access ramps that we are maintaining. So that's here and here. So that access is being maintained. And we're proposing a asphalt 10-foot wide concrete, or not concrete, asphalt path. And then where we're showing some asterisks are, we have a meeting with the Museum and Arts and Culture Board on Wednesday. So we're starting to show locations where there are these kind of black asterisks here. where we could have some interpretive features or educational or art elements. So those are sort of some examples of what that could be. So those are conversations to be continued. And then the existing Carl Schurz monument is staying where it is on site. So it's just at the end of Washington Ave here, this asterisk here. Okay. So here are some 3D studies of this concept 1, where we're keeping all the green space kind of consolidated and it's not broken up by the road. We preserve the most trees with this concept and the most memorial trees. Okay. Concept 2, the biggest difference is the south side, which is on the right in the screen. So instead of hugging the road as close to the fence and the property line of the new Clearwell structures as possible, we're looping it out. So that's going to take out some of those trees in here. Some perks to this one: you get a little bit more of a buffer between the new structures. You can have some parking here, so this potential educational feature could be something that it relates to the structures or is a bigger thing that you could park at. Here we're showing these parallel street parking stalls. The shortgrass prairie type of planting is over here, and we have another one here. So these aren't mounded, they're flat, and the height we want to keep at that 3 foot for safety reasons, so you can see over clearly when walking on this path. So we also added a sidewalk that continues from the existing sidewalk here that leads to this parking area, and also a crosswalk that's mid-block here. And here are some 3D shots of this concept 2. So we're preserving a few less trees and a couple less memorial trees, because we're shifting the road more drastically in this concept.
Didn't we at one point vote to have that one way, or wasn't there talk that it was going to be a one-way street? And that's now null and void?
Correct, yes.
Okay, good.
So for the one-way, that's a 20-foot wide road, and the two-way, we're doing 2 12-foot lanes. So you're only losing 4 feet of pavement, and after we did the studies, it was just more flexible and more usable for like semis to get into and access the plant to these 2 drives. And with the upcoming, in the future at some point, Merritt Ave is going to be under construction, and so it was important that a semi-truck that services the plant would be able to get out over here when that is closed. So it's not a huge loss, 4 feet of road, like it's not that much more pavement. And it just was much more usable and practical for the plant. So that's why we went with the 2-way lanes for both of these. So I have the last 2 slides just compare the 2, and I can kind of toggle back and forth between them just so you can kind of like look at them side by side. But we're open to feedback, any thoughts, any preferences, 1 versus 2, and why, what you don't like or like. We'd like to hear what you think.
I don't know if you can answer the question, or Mr. Maurer can answer the questions. On the one concept, we removed 3 memorial trees. Do we know where they'll go after that? Are they going to be replanted? They're going to be, the families that paid for them? We got to notify them that their trees are being removed and where they would go?
Yeah, we would work with the families on that.
Okay. And second, is that roadway concrete or asphalt?
Concrete is what we're showing now.
And because the city has a history of pouring concrete and not thinking about underneath, are we going to have sanitary sewer, water, sewer, and mains all put in at the same time so we don't have to dig it up in a year or 2, like some of our streets we've done after we've re-poured them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be Mr. Cody's
That'd be,
question.
that'd be for me, yes. Thank
Yes.
you, Mr. Herman. So as part of the clear walls, we do have to put a new intake pipe in underneath the roadway. We're planning to get that in ahead of time. We will be coordinating storm sewer as far as there is actually no sanitary or sewer under the existing roadway, nor is there a plan to be put any in for sanitary sewer or water main.
Okay, so where does, for the plant, where does their sanitary sewer, storm sewer, does that come off of the New Merritt or off of Washington?
It's a variety of connections at this point
Okay.
in time to the north and
I just
south.
don't want
No.
to spend money on concrete and 2 or 3 layers, oh, we forgot to put that infrastructure in, so.
Yeah.
No, timing wise, we do need to get the intake. There's an intake pipe project for
Right.
backup intake in the CIP. We do want to get that pipe at least stubbed through here prior to that going on, but that's about the end of the significant infrastructure for
Okay.
piping we're anticipating underneath.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you show the picture again of the two, like the actual
Yeah,
real
the,
fake pictures?
this one, the real fake pictures, yeah.
So in concept 2, then, it looks like along the water, that's really not that usable of area?
That's
there?
true, this is not lawn, this would be like a planted, that kind of like fescue meadow. But the benches would still be along the path facing the lake. So there'd be places to sit, but you wouldn't be like playing frisbee or anything here.
And this would be another question for probably Mr. Godey, because it's a street question. Of the two, for snow plowing purposes and able to put snow on either side of the structure, which one do you feel is a better opportunity to move snow around in the winter months? Because, again, we know how important it is, access to the lake and those types of things. Is that wider one better because you're gonna be able to put more snow off to the side or things like that?
The challenges that I see with either of these are a couple of these small nook areas where the perpendicular parking are the areas I see the biggest challenge. We can generally push off, we're gonna have a buffer off to the side where we can push snow onto the side of any of the mainline ones. It's really the parking areas that become the challenge, and those are gonna have to be a secondary operation to come back in and clear, because we've got this small area here where clearly we're not gonna get a plow into. This is gonna need a small piece of equipment to come in, and then there's an ADA accessible stall in here. So making sure that ramp and everything gets cleared out. The same happens at the upper end up here, and I'm going to try to get to the little bigger picture here. Bear with me a moment. So we get these here where we've got these perpendicular ends. Those are challenges. I see this one being a snow storage area for the area during the
Okay.
winter when parking is not utilized that much. I can see us piling snow at this northern, the northern end of this one. Potentially. In some of these too, although these with the 45s are a little bit easier to clean in and out. This one is going to be challenging to clean during the winter operations.
And the only reason I ask, history, a lot of people love to come down there and watch on the lake. So as many parking places as we can accommodate. And I know after a big snowstorm, it'll take a little time for streets to get down or the unloader and haul the snow away, but just so we have some parking down there would be great, so
Yeah.
thank you.
We did, we are showing, so you can kind of see the new fence on
Mhm.
the south, or yeah, that's where it is. So that's a minimum of 8 feet offset from the curb, so you can't pile snow along there.
Okay.
And then just to add on to like, I forgot to mention a maintenance thing, all the paths have a 5-foot minimum mow edge, so
Mhm.
the plants won't be coming right up to the path or the road.
Yeah, and this will be one challenging area here too. We only have about, just because of the pinch points, we only
Yeah.
have about 2 feet of, and this is just going to be another pavement. I believe this is supposed to be concrete between the asphalt path and the curb, just to provide a area that isn't high maintenance where grass can't grow, but it'll be a challenge to keep, because when the street gets plowed, it's gonna wanna push it all back on the trail and vice versa. So that'll be another challenging area, but it's just what staff is gonna have to.
And I guess that'd be a parks thing, or Chad, operations side, we're gonna keep that trail open in the winter like we do the other ones?
We will.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I can share that internally, our department staff preferred concept 1. We just
Okay,
felt
yeah,
that,
that's the one I'm leaning towards.
we felt that it was, having that larger green space along the water really felt more like a park setting and,
Right.
just So just so you know, that's what we preferred, but again, we're open to all sorts of discussions.
That was gonna be my comment, that it's a wider space on the south end of it there. That's a more usable space for people. It's the concept too, we're kind of splitting it, and there's really not a lot left for either one there, by moving the road closer to the building. That creates more of a little bit of park space there that can be used.
And off of that, emergency response to the lake, a lot of times they stage in that area, so I think concept one's a better setup for the fire department, and that to, if they have to launch the airboat and things like that out onto the lake, because they don't like to be on the lake itself. So, I agree. Are you looking for a motion? Mr.
Yes, we are. If there's
I'll
no
make a
discussion.
motion to recommend concept one.
I'll second.
Can I just sneak in for one clarification on that quick, just so we're not locked in on something because we didn't really discuss it? You'll notice there's a slight difference on these south ends here. One's just kind of a street style intersection coming in and narrowing up after. We've got a concept here where we're trying to narrow Washington down. We're still trying to, I would prefer that you would leave us some flexibility on these and don't lock us into one. We're still trying to get truck turning movements and figure out what the waters needs and things for that. My concern is that we're not gonna be able to get delivery vehicles through this intersection to get them to the waters with this narrow one, but we haven't gotten those size of vehicles the waters needs to be able to get through here yet and make this turn. So if we can have the general concept without being locked into one of those two Washington Avenue designs and leave us a little flexibility there, it would be appreciated.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Yeah. I guess, going back to the motion, I guess, concept one with the option that the street department, if they need to widen something, narrow something, or whatever, they have that flexibility to do what they have to do, because it's still a functioning public street, so we have to make that happen.
Tim, you seconded that?
Yes, I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Otherwise, I'll take a roll call. Amy?
Aye.
Sorry, Davis. Becky Metz?
Aye.
Tim Franz?
Aye.
Steve Herman?
Aye.
4-0. Concept one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the mural project at Menominee Park Zoo Buildings.
All right, let's make sure. So the next item is to discuss the mural project at the Menominee Park Zoo. We did update the board that we'd be working with some of our community partners on this, and we have Greg with Spark Towns that is here, that has been working with the Convention Visitors Bureau and our team to come up with some different ideas on drawing more attractions to the Menominee Park Zoo, bringing more people there. Placemaking is the term that they like to use, but Greg's here to walk us through the process that we went through to choose an artist for the murals, and I was part of that final discussion as well. So it's more to give the board an update where we're at and kind of give you an idea on the artist that was selected.
So just one artist was selected?
Yes, and Greg can touch
Yeah, I'll
on
talk
it.
more about that in a second. So yeah, my name's Greg Wright. I have a consulting and project management firm that works in entrepreneurship and public art, and have been working with Discover Oshkosh since about October of last year. I've met some of you through that process. Amy Albright is normally here with me, and she's usually passing out melty bars, so I apologize I don't have any melty bars, but she's in Alaska on a cruise right now, so we don't feel sorry for her. So this conversation started with, and don't worry, I'm not going to talk about the train, but this conversation started with the train. Just when the conversation about the train happened earlier this year, or I guess last year, people started asking sort of what else could we be doing in the Menominee Park Zoo area to really make it more of an asset. And so we gathered some partners together, the city, the parks, Community Foundation, Discover Oshkosh, some community members, to talk about what other investments could complement the train conversation to really make Menominee Park Zoo as much as possible of a destination for the community. At the same time, we've been talking a lot about murals and other work that could be happening in other places in the community, and it seemed like this might be a great project for something like that. So we really talked through a couple of investments that could happen at the same time that you all have just been doing new trails. I know there's some new picnic tables in the space. There's some other conversations happening with the train. We wanted to think about what Discover Oshkosh could bring to the table to complement those investments. And we came up with this idea of doing murals in the park. We put a call out in May, and really what we emphasized was that we were looking for, as it says in the bottom, we were looking for artists to create a cohesive and engaging visual theme that reflects the zoo's mission, animals, and environment, and complements the park around it. So we walked through the zoo with park staff and identified locations that would make sense for a mural, really with the idea of trying to pull the entire zoo facility together into a common feel. You have an incredible facility in your zoo. I think you're all aware that the buildings were built at various stages in different eras with different building materials and different colors. So while it is a beautiful facility, it doesn't necessarily feel like you're walking through a cohesive facility. So the question was, and I've seen some of the plans that are out there that are require you to build brand new buildings to accomplish that. We were wondering if we could accomplish that for much less money just by painting some murals across different buildings. So we really focused on the Lake Fly Cafe and entrance, the storage building next to it, the service building, the otter and bear and foxes exhibits, and then some exhibits that are in there in the eagle area and the otter area as well. So that's what I'm about to show you. So we went through 2 rounds of applications. The first round we received 16 applications that submitted their sample work. We used a 7-member community member selection committee to sort of narrow that down to 3 finalists. We had those finalists and design proposals that included at least one complete mural concept and then an explanation of what they would do with the rest of the zoo. And that's what Ray's talking about, that we used that same selection committee and park staff to narrow down to the recommended finalist, which is a gentleman named Jake Reeder, who is a graphic designer and muralist. He right now is living in the Quad Cities. He has done work in Wisconsin and Chicago and other areas as well. And he had this concept of pulling together in the same color scheme murals, badges, interactive displays, and other artistic elements that I'll kind of walk you through now. I can share that with you if you want to read it. But so this is the concept for the Lake Fly Cafe and entrance building. It is using a single color palette, using these colors throughout the zoo to give a common theme and feel to the different spaces. This is the entire design, but it will wrap the Lake Fly Cafe in graphics that are all related to the animals that are in the zoo currently, making it very visible from the street so people are aware of the fact that that's what this facility is, drawing interest and having this by itself be its own element. People can take pictures with these different figures. Again, they can spend a good portion of the day just walking around and looking at all that this offers. A similar mural will go up then on the flat side, the pond facing side, lagoon facing side of the husbandry building. Then there will be displays, interactive displays. So right now you have a Eagle Scout project that has wingspans that is fading from years ago. It's to replace that with a larger display that fills that entire section that shows different wingspans, again, of birds from around the U.S. Again, pulls in that same color scheme, again, creates that sense of draw, that this is one more activity for families to do when they're there. Again, feels more cohesive and is a more durable material that should last longer than the interactive display currently. Similarly, replacing the Menominee Park otter, the interactive otter picture stand with something that fits the color scheme and vibe of these other murals as well. And then there's a plan to put badges. These are just examples of what those badges could look like, but badges that will go on each of the homes for the animals, the enclosures, so that people can see which animal is in which section. And then again, those badges could be used in, in merch and T-shirts and cups and whatever else to use for further promotion of the zoo. The last piece of it is just looking at the signage that's there. There's a lot of dated signage. There's a bunch of different types of signage. So redoing signage so that it also has that same look and vibe and feel of the mural work that's being done. So here's an example of like the Lake Fly Cafe could look like this as opposed to what you have right now. Again, it would get pulled into the mural work so that it has a unified feel across the entire zoo. That's my spiel. Any questions for me?
So that's a done deal then?
So we have gone through the process of narrowing down the artist we think is the best choice for this. We're here for your advice on that, and we have these final permission hoops to jump through. But yes, we are hoping to move forward with this artist.
The color palette is really finalized. That's what we're going to focus on as far as what's going on the buildings. Those were all examples of what could go on the building, correct?
Yeah.
Focusing on mainly the animals that we currently have in the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's a great concept. Haven't taken my grandson down there. It's it's kind of like a crapshoot, if you want to call it. And this will make it more defined.
Yeah.
And I think that will be good for young families and kids that are interested in certain animals, to see certain animals. They know where to go or all that. So I think that'd be a great addition. Great concept.
Yeah, and I think Greg and Amy and our team did a good job of getting local artists involved in the process to start evaluating these and narrowing them down. So it was a good process, I think, for the community and for the local artists as well.
This is something, we're excited to pilot this as a project where, you all are working on something and we're aware of what you're working on, and we potentially complement it with some additional art that adds more of an attraction to that area. I think that's what I know Amy would want to talk about, that this is a really exciting partnership between Discover Oshkosh and the Parks Department, and hopefully it's the first of many.
Yeah, we've got, and this kind of stems into the next discussion on the train, but as Greg mentioned, the Community Foundation has been involved in this, the Discover Oshkosh. Different donors have already stepped up for certain aspects of improvements to the Menominee Park Zoo and Menominee Park area. So we're working on those at the same time that we're bringing the information forward to this group.
So are the buildings wrapped, or is it
It'll be
painted?
actually painted, yeah.
Okay.
Painting will last a little bit longer than the wrapping will, yeah.
I like it, I just think the colors are a little drab. They don't pop.
Just noticing your color of your shirt.
Yeah. It's a Monday. Give her time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Greg makes a good point too, that we're encouraging, again, this private-public partnership. The city has been putting a lot of money into the zoo itself as far as improving the pathways, the picnic tables, but also outside the zoo. As you all are aware, Pratt Trail was recently done. And starting next week, Seaward Trail is going to be shut down and reconstructed. So that project, Seaward Trail, I think came in right around $2 million. Pratt Trail was over that. So that's kind of the partnership, is the city continues to put some of those large infrastructure dollars into the park, and we can leverage that against some of the potential donations and partnerships that we're looking at. So. Any other thoughts or questions?
I think it looks great. I like the
Yeah.
I like the color palette from it kind of blends with the zoo, and it's more.
I like it, it's just,
Hey, how do you color a leaf fly? They're gray.
and the poop green.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So we'll continue to proceed. And Greg, you want to get a little timeline maybe?
I think I know we have one more city permission we need to make sure we get. We wanted to talk to you all first, but it should start as soon as we have that permission. So I think
Possibly later this fall,
Yeah.
some might say.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get as much of it painted as we can before the weather doesn't allow us to paint anymore, which is usually around the 15th of October, somewhere around there. But we'll try to get as much done as we can, and then some of it may get finished up in the spring.
Just maybe just a side note, not that it really matters, but you said painting. How many years do you think those murals will last before you have to either touch them up or put a different mural.
It should be, I mean, 20 to 30 years, yeah.
Oh, that-
Yeah,
oh,
murals
wow.
do last a long time. As long as you're using high-quality exterior paints, they should last a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good to know. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Leave this here.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll come over there.
All right, up next, discuss and recommend an on-land wheeled train to replace the tracked amusement train for 2026.
Back to the train.
That's colorful. That pops.
It's a train, it should.
So yes, I did hear the comment back to the train, and we know the community input that we received after the consideration last year during the budget sessions to eliminate the amusement train. What we've been doing since then, again, meeting with a number of our partners, some of those individuals that had spoken out against getting rid of the train, we've included in these discussions. We're looking at a train that we could take throughout Menominee Park, less maintenance. It would be a brand-new train, and again, what we're looking to do is replace the track train. Just looking at mine. It gives us the potential for, we'd be looking at probably selling tickets for the train rides out of the Lakefly Cafe on the window that goes out to the park site. Probably have the pickup site right in front of the zoo. If you know, there's a awning or an overhang right in front that we could maybe make it look like a train station there as well. We've got some possibilities. I don't want to say that we'd start out having the train go all the way up towards Ames Point, but I think our staff is already looking at how far in the park we could go so that it's a realistic train ride and we're not keeping a lot of people waiting, because we think it's really going to be something that'll be unique and fun for the community. We've already had, again, discussions during a lot of these meetings and discussions about potential funding. We have had some wonderful donors step forward saying that they'd like to see this happen and have committed some funding towards the new train. So as we are presenting or preparing our 2026 operating budget, our staff is looking at incorporating this new train, the on-land train, in place of the track train. We're looking at one very similar to this, and I believe we are looking at one that has 6 cars. Or 6, remember?
4 is 24.
Okay, yeah, so four cars. Each car would hold 6 people. And actually, the end car is an ADA accessible one where it has a drop-down ramp so you could wheel a wheelchair into or a walker and so forth. So it's a neat concept. Would have a whistle, have a PA, have the smoke. We're looking at, is this something that we could really incorporate some history of the park as you're driving on the train, our conductor, and getting some good history to everybody that's on the ride. Right now, we are hoping that we could get enough interest that we would try to staff this 7 days a week. You may have seen the operation at the train this summer. We've, even though we had staffing to start it out, we had some days where we had to close early or not open at all just because of staff shortages. But I think this will be a little bit interesting where we might be able to get some retired individuals that I think would have an interest in doing this, becoming more of a tour guide for Menominee Park. We would mainly focus on driving these on the park trails. We'd look at the possibility of maybe in some sections going on the roadway, but really focusing on trying to stay on the park trails. So, like I said, as we're putting the 26 budget together, it's something that we're recommending and wanted to get feedback from this group. And then as we go through the budget with the council, we'd be having that discussion with them as well. The preliminary budget we're looking at, we would increase the ticket fee, and we would be able to easily cover our staffing costs so that, and not really have a high ticket price at this point we're not looking at.
So, timeline, more or less like Memorial Day to Labor Day timeframe that the train would be operating?
That's our goal, yes.
So when the downtime kind of comes with the park system, potentially could it go on the, down along Main Street to up and down both sides of the Fox River for more of like an adult entertainment thing? As the kids no longer want to ride the train and, because they're back in school and everything else? I mean, just throwing out possibilities to really make it a city-wide thing eventually. I mean, not initially, but, you know, some concepts down the line
I
that,
think it gives us some different options down
yeah,
there.
that's what I'm thinking, is just options down the line that, as summer winds down, would there be an interest? I mean, maybe adults can't fit in there too well, and you can only put in 15 of us.
No, the adults fit in there well, too.
Okay, I like it, I think it's a
And-
neat idea.
On the, using the trails on the trail width, is there still enough room people could be on the trail and it would pass, you know, just, I mean,
We did look at
accessible
that.
folks and stuff?
We did. I forget what the width is, but Chad and I did have that discussion. I
Like
would-
the width of this unit, I believe, is 42 inches. So, yeah, adaptable to a lot of areas.
Is that was one of my concerns, you know, that I thought it's like, well, if it would be on the same roadways, that wouldn't be really that different than taking your car through, but to have it follow a different, because the trails take you in some neater, you know, closer places along the lake and
Yeah,
things
we
like that.
really think
that-
we could expand the visitor's experience in the park and give a little bit of a history tour, I think.
Sure.
I think it'd be really, really pretty neat.
Yeah, especially if we could go all the way to out to the point, that would really be.
We
that
could
would be
go out to
great.
the point, but we could get to where the point starts, because just
Uh-huh.
turn around and so
Right,
forth. but
right,
Possibly
yeah.
get up to there. I think right now, we'd like to get it in and operating, hopefully, and get an established route down, and then we had talked, maybe there's a day of the week where we extend the route and then take it all the way up to the north end, some different type of routes, certain days and so forth. Something else we've already talked about, again, with a number of our partners and with Greg having the eye for sprucing things up, you know, maybe there's an opportunity for doing something further on the train cars, as far as maybe some sponsorships or some
Like
other
those,
type of
yeah.
things on the train cars as well.
Just to Tim's comment, 42 inches wide, average ATV is 48 inches, and a UTV is 64 inches. So it's smaller than, think of an ATV going down the trail.
Yeah.
It's smaller than that. So it would be roughly 6 inches smaller than a ATV and quite a bit smaller than a side-by-side.
And the trails are typically 10 to 12 feet, correct, Jed?
Correct.
So
Yeah,
imagine
plenty
4
of-
feet, and then you've
Mhm.
still got
Yep.
six to 8, depending on the width in some areas.
Now, budgeting's everything. Is this, would we be buying someone else's equipment, or would this be a brand new purchase?
Yeah, we're looking to do brand new at this point.
Okay. And are you looking for a recommendation from us, or just this is what we're thinking of doing, or do you
We
need
would-
something for budget
Yes.
purposes to have the Parks Board support this?
I do, because as you know, there was quite a bit of outcry when we had, had some discussions last year
Right.
about this time on the train. So we're respecting that, making sure that this board's comfortable as the citizen board. And then, like I said, we'll put it into our preliminary budget, so when it goes to the council for discussion, we'll be sharing it with the common council as well. But yes, if you're comfortable, or if you have any more questions, but otherwise, we would be looking for a recommendation.
Well, I think the train, even though a lot of people wanted it, it's very limited. It's gotten costly. I know it couldn't run this weekend for one reason or another. I'd make a motion to go ahead and pursue this option, which actually makes it easier to maintain, easier to operate, and potentially could expand in other areas of the park. So I would make a motion to recommend going forward with this option to replace the train in Menominee Park.
I second.
Any further discussion?
Is there any trail that goes through, like, the train now goes through like that little wooded area?
Yeah, we've had some discussion because if it goes forward, be removing the train track. We would leave the gravel base there and potentially put some trails through there as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if it'd be possible to reuse at least some of that path, and go out through that whole causeway there would be,
Yep.
as part of it, would be nice to be able to keep that.
Yeah, this really, a lot for us is the tracks themselves. And so getting rid of the track maintenance and repairs annually is a big step. But as you know, the train engine itself is, we believe, from the 1950s probably. And so an expense to replace. All right, so we had a motion by Steve, a second by Amy. I'll do a voice vote. Amy Davis,
Aye.
Becky Metz,
I,
Tim Franz,
Aye.
Steve Herman.
Aye.
4-0, so we will make sure that we'll let the Common Council know that as well.
All right, moving on to discuss and recommend naming a section of the Oshkosh River Walk in memory of Lerton Blassingame.
All right, well, this was one of Tyler's projects, so I'm going to turn it over to him, and then I know we have Mr. Ford wanted to give some statements as well, and he can do that after Tyler. Gives you a little background.
Yeah. So a proposal was brought forward looking to name a portion of the Riverwalk to memorialize Lerton Blassingame and his work on the project itself and his advocacy work as well. So I'll kind of go through, you should have the memo in your packet there. I've listed out all the criteria pertinent to the city's gift donations and naming policy. I'll just kind of go through, summarize, and just kind of point out some specific criteria. I just want to make sure you're aware of. At any point of any of the criteria, you have any questions, just let me know. So I believe it was just after Lerton's passing, over 5 years ago, that Dr. Ford came to us with this proposal, but because of the policy's time criteria, we had 5 years. We had to postpone it. 5 years has passed, so here we are. Regarding the significance of the individual's contributions, I did my best to kind of collect multiple examples of Lerton's advocacy work and just community involvement and recognition of. You can kind of see there's quite a few examples of that, including specifically recognition for his actual work. I think he was the city's community partner, received the community's partner award in 2013 for his work on the project. There's also a list of the numerous, if not a dozen or so, examples of memberships in various organizations that he was involved in around the Fox Valley area as well. Area use of impact, we're just looking at doing just a naming, possibly installation of just a signage, kind of detailing that. So there shouldn't be really any impact on the area, or at least negative impact on the Riverwalk itself. As long as including no functional components to it. Regarding family approval and comments, Dr. Ford was able to connect me with Lerton's family, specifically his son Curtis, who I reached out and have had communication with. He, speaking on behalf of his family, is fully supportive of this proposal and appreciates the proposal being brought forward and considered. And lastly, regarding land and monetary contributions, as of this time, there are no land or monetary contributions related to this proposal. I will say, however, that, and Mike can correct me if this is still the case, that residents who brought this forward were also willing to discuss contributing money for any associated costs, like the signs and installing that, however it manifests itself.
and where is the area that's gonna be renamed?
Yep, so that's also part of, in addition to your recommendation, also any preferences of that too. We haven't really chosen a specific one. We kind of discussed possibly the section behind Leach Amphitheater going up to Main Street as a possible location. I know that Lerton's family also didn't have a preference at all as well. So looking for any feedback on that too.
Yeah, we don't have a section, and I think Mike can come up and speak too, but when we talked about an idea for us, I think the initial project or section was behind the Leach and Riverside Park. So for us, it was like, all right, that was our first section that got done. Maybe that's the best section to recognize Lerton and his ideas behind it. So How about if we have Mike come up and then we can have more questions and follow up on that.
And I'll do my best here. I gotta follow the train. All right, that's very exciting. So Mike Ford, 1628 White Swan Drive here in Oshkosh. So first off, thanks for having me and thanks for considering this. So as Tyler laid out, I had the pleasure of serving on the Oshkosh Common Council from 2020 to 2024. And it was during that time I inquired about naming a section of the Riverwalk after Lurton. And I'll talk a little bit about Lurton in a second, but he passed away on March 9th, 2020. So when I brought this up, I was informed that city policy requires a person be deceased for 5 years before we can name something in their honor. When the 5-year window passed, I reached out to the current council, and they reached out to to Tyler. That's how we got to this point. So why Lurton and why the Riverwalk? Well, I first got to know Lurton about 12 years ago when I moved to Oshkosh through our church. We served on the finance committee at the First Congregational Church of Oshkosh together, and we connected pretty quickly over our mutual love of trout fishing, short meetings, and civic engagement. He became my hero because it was an hour-long meeting, and it hit 7 o'clock, and he stood up and left. I said, I didn't know we could do that. I like this guy. And the more I got to know him, the more I learned about him. He was just an impressive guy. He was an Eagle Scout. He served as a naval officer. He completed a PhD before he moved to Oshkosh in 1967, where he eventually became the coordinator of the Urban and Regional Studies program at UW Oshkosh. And incidentally, I used to actually accidentally get his mail. Even after he retired, people were still corresponding with him. So I'm a professor of public administration at UWO, so I used to bring him his mail at church as well, which we got a kick out of. Anyways, when getting ready for this, I was reading through some of his old writings, and he really was a true urbanist. So one article he wrote in 1998 was called Sustainable Cities, and it really stood out to me. To quote him, he said, "Cities are beautiful, built to respond to humanity's needs, testimony to its achievement, and a place for all social groups." He advocated that we build in harmony with nature and include the natural within the man-made. And as the Riverwalk is I think, evidence of, he wasn't just talk. He served on the Plan Commission for 23 years. He served on the Parks Committee here, on the Oshkosh Public Library Board, the Downtown Rotary, and so much more, as you can read about in your packet. I think most relevant today is he was on the Fox River Development Committee, which developed the Riverwalk. Per the policy, as Tyler stated, I did reach out to Lurton's son, Curtis, who communicated to me and to city staff that the family is supportive. And as it said in the packet, I know that there could be a fundraising component here, and happy to assist in those efforts. Just from some of the communications I put out on Facebook and talking to people in church and some of the enthusiasm they have, I'm confident if there is a cost that comes with a plaque or anything, that we can make that happen, and happy to figure that all out if this is something you all agree to move forward with. And I guess I'll just finish quickly by saying that assets like the Riverwalk don't just happen. They benefit future generations because past leaders have both the vision and the persistence to make them a reality. And Lurton gave so much to this community, and I think taking this action would be a really small but fitting and lasting tribute to someone who had a real positive impact here in Oshkosh. So thank you for your consideration, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions from
No questions.
Mr. Ford.
No questions.
All right, easy enough. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
If I can make a comment, I'll just follow off of Dr. Ford's comments. I was on the council when the Riverwalk was first being forwarded. I don't like the location myself because it's the end of the trail. Lurton was a visionary guy. Got to know him very well when I was on city council, my time from 2010 to 2020. I think I remember some of the early meetings we had, they were between Main Street and the Oregon Street area. And I think that if we're gonna start to name sections of the river, especially for people that were very instrumental in putting the Riverwalk in, it needs to be where more people will have access to it. And I don't think that many people walk between the railroad bridge and Main Street on the Riverwalk as they would from Main Street to Oregon Street or Jackson, whatever, where the new bridge is gonna be. So I think that would be a better, I'm in support of it. I think Lurton was one of the original people that really pushed this Riverwalk in the city of Oshkosh. I think it needs to be in a better location that people really get a chance to get a little information about who he is, what he did for the city of Oshkosh, And he was one of, like I said, he was in 1972, if you go back, I think he's gone now, but if you go back in the archives in the city about the Riverwalk, he was one of the original Plan Commission members that said we needed a Riverwalk in Oshkosh. So I support it. I don't support where tentatively we're thinking about putting it. I think it needs to end up in a higher area of the Riverwalk.
And we respect that, and like I said, we just threw out a comment because there was nothing brought up, so
Right.
I would agree, and we're wide open for discussion on
Yep.
it, so.
And if you get back to Mr. Roloff, he could probably tell you even more because Lurton was in his ear all the time, and he could give you a better timeline of when those concepts and ideas were started. But I remember from my time on council, we approved the first section of the Riverwalk, which was not behind the leach, it was actually down farther where the public docks are between Jackson and, let me think of that, by the apartments down there. That was the first section of the Riverwalk that was done from Jackson. And so I think that area, right in that area, from either Main Street to Oregon Street, Jackson Street Bridge, or from Jackson Street Bridge going west would be a little more appropriate to name a section of the Riverwalk in his name. But I support the concept of it. Well, I guess I'll bring it back up. You want a recommendation that we support the signage and you'll bring back to the board future locations, or however you want to go forward with it, but.
I think if this board has a preference on a location, let's have that in your recommendation.
Okay.
Because a naming of something within the city, obviously the council will weigh into that, and so part of your recommendation should be a section, so.
Okay, I'll make a motion to move forward the naming of a section of the Riverwalk in Lurton's name with the recommendation that it goes from Main Street to the Oregon Street Bridge section of the Riverwalk. And it should be on the north side of the river, not the south side of the river, because the north side was developed before the south side Riverwalk was developed.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Not, we'll do a voice vote. Davis,
Aye.
Metz,
I,
Franz,
Aye.
and Herman.
Aye.
Okay. So what we'll do is, Chad and I had some brief discussions too on, I think it'd be very nice to have some type of signage or plaque, obviously, in that section. We thought maybe there's an opportunity, we have banners on the light poles, and maybe there's an opportunity to put some naming of the section as well on the banner. So we'll take a look at a couple things and bring that back to the board. I think that would probably be best. And if you've got ideas, feel free to let us know. Thank you,
right.
Mr. Ford.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ford.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, on to staff reports, Mr. Mauer.
Okay, I'm going to keep it brief. Update on parkland dedication and the fee in lieu of dedication process. What we are going to do is we've held off taking that. We took it to the Plan Commission. Plan Commission supported what the Parks Board had recommended. There's other departments that have some potential fees and other things that are going to be coming forward that deal with new developments within the city. And so we felt bringing that all together as a package to the Common Council versus taking something for parks and then something for streets or DPW or another department, so that there was a totality to what's being recommended potentially. So we didn't forget about it, but it's on hold until we can get all of those pieces put together. So just wanted to let you know that. Update on Seaward Trail reconstruction in Menominee Park. As I briefly said before, that reconstruction is scheduled to start next Monday. I don't have a map, but I should have one ready. But Seaward Trail is basically out in front of the Lakefly Cafe, including the drop-off area, the zoo parking lot, and it goes along the west side of the zoo. And we are going to be reconstructing that all the way up to the boat launch parking lot. And so, again, it's starting next Monday. They are going to start out near the zoo, so it'll be closed. The street will be closed there. People can park on Pratt Trail and near the community playground and so forth for the zoo. Time and duration for the project is, the goal is to have it done mid to the third week of October-ish. Our goal is to have it all completed before our Zuluween Boo. And so obviously any construction project is going to be weather related, but that's our goal, is to have it done mid to late October. So we are going to be getting a press release out. It's engineering staff is really coordinating this project along with us. So we're going to be getting a press release out for that. They sent it over today, and I think it's going to be finalized tomorrow. So we'll get that out. We'll get it out on our social media sites and everything. Big question is, as far as archaeological significance goes, we have an agreement with the UWM cultural, the archaeologists again. They've done some shovel testing there. There's a couple of sensitive areas. It's mainly around the front of the zoo area and just a little bit west. But from what we've done on a design, it's going to be less excavating, and as far as the significance or the number of potential artifacts that they did find there in the shovel dig, there's less concern that we're going to run into what we ran into at Pratt Trail. So just had a meeting this morning with them, and so they will be on site whenever there's excavation, because there is some storm sewers that cross that road, and those are the speed bumps mainly that are going through there now. So those will be replaced, and so they'll have to be there for some of that excavation. So
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Dahlman.
Well, in addition to the excitement at Menominee Park with the road project improvement, we got some other fun things taking shape too. Over at 44th Parallel Park, we'll be going through construction here starting next week in regards to the tennis pickleball project. So that court will be refurbished. Right now it has 2 tennis courts, and it'll be converted to 2 pickleball, 1 tennis. Also in conjunction at Stevens Park, as you know, the other improvements that took place this year, this is the last project at Stevens Park where the courts will be replaced. There'll be a tennis court resurfaced there, and as also the basketball court will be redone. So that'll be a big improvement for both of those sites. And last but not least, Pickert Park out on the west side of town, off Paul's Place there, the playground equipment project will start taking place. So you'll be seeing some grading states and surveying taking place there. We'll be working on that over the course of late August, early September, with that playground going in that area. So that'll be good going forward. And just one thing for the committee and also for the public viewing us, this is the final week for Pollock Community Water Park being open. We do close on this Sunday, the 17th, so it should be a nice week to get out to enjoy swimming at the facility one more time here. So that's what I have for today.
Just a comment, as long as you mentioned the Pollock, is usage up, down, being used?
Haven't looked at the formal numbers yet here. I don't like to get too surprised too quick, but it's been a good year for us right now.
That's the main thing.
Yes.
Just based on what we were looking at today in the budget, as far as the revenue, it looks pretty good.
Good, good. It's been a hot summer, so.
Yep.
Thank you, Chad. All right, Mr. Dirks.
All right, I don't have a whole heck of a lot, just a quick update on our urban forestry, strategic and management plans. We are going to be asking the residents of Oshkosh for a little bit of help to help shape and develop these plans through a survey. So hopefully next week we should be able to have that out on Polco and on our social media pages. I think you can get to the link to sign up for all that kind of good stuff. Basically what it is it's just I don't want to say brief, but it's a survey that's going to ask you your experiences with trees, what you think, your thoughts, how they're being managed, and just help us develop a plan of what the residents of Oshkosh want for their urban forestry program. So, and on a positive note, I guess, I also they got done with the canopy cover, the tree canopy cover study, and it turns out that Oshkosh as a whole, public and private trees included, has about 16% tree canopy coverage. So we aren't as dire as I originally thought we were. it's not quite average, but
What
close.
what are we required to be a Tree City percentage? Do you know?
Tree City doesn't have an actual percentage
Oh, okay.
tree canopy. There are 4 other criteria that you have to meet,
Okay,
so.
all right.
What would your goal be?
Most of the times it would probably be sitting around 30% is good. But there again, that's what we're doing, taking a survey for, trying to get a feel of what the citizens or the residents of Oshkosh want to. So
I would imagine ash tree disease dropped those numbers down drastically.
it was about 3% actually. So and that's I want to say mainly with the city resident or the city-owned trees on the terraces.
Sure.
The last study that they did was in 18, I believe. I did 18 or 19, right around in there. And we are sitting at 19%. So
Okay.
it dropped to 3% through that.
All right, thank you. You have more? Oh, you have more, yes.
Nope, that's not on the survey.
Not on that topic?
So the survey should be out next week, hopefully. But I also want to touch on the Memorial Tree Program for this fall. So the deadline to get in to have your tree planted this fall yet would be this Friday, August 15th. These trees will be planted toward the end of October, probably the last 2 weeks of October, somewhere right in there. The Memorial Tree Program as a whole this year has been outstanding. We have with this fall's orders so far, we have had 46 trees that we are planting. So it's wonderful.
Do you get to pick what kind of tree? Or
To a certain extent. I do have a recommended list that we go by. I've had to take maple off just because everybody picks maple and so but it's with that if I've put in some very close maple species that are just as good. So now I'm done.
Now you're done. Thank you, Travis. All right, any other business?
I have 2 things, and maybe Mr. Mauer can either say no update, status of Miller's Bay Boat Landing, the Reach Diamonds, the concession stand in the parking lot for the next meeting, and is there any update with Rainbow Park? I noticed the 2 businesses moved out. I know that has to do with the reconstruction of the street, but I know that there's been some work done in Rainbow Park, but if we could have an update of those 2 facilities. I know there's some boat launch stuff connected to both of them, so if we could have an update, maybe at the next meeting.
Sure.
I appreciate it. I know it was a 2 or 3 year project on both of them, so
Yep, I can put that on an update for a report next time.
thank you.
Sure.
Anything else? All right, to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you.